This video is on soldering wires together, which you would need to do if you're doing electrical repairs or stereo installation type work. First thing you're going to do is take wire strippers and the wire and use the wire strippers to strip off the insulation to expose the bare copper inside. You have to determine the gauge of the wire and figure out which of these openings will work the best for you. In this case, 16 is what we're going to use. Strip off enough so it's about the width of your thumb, about 3/4 of an inch, and you should not break any of the copper strands off when you strip the wire. You're going to twist the strands together so that it looks like that. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. Cut off about 3/4 of an inch. You should not damage any of the copper strands, they should all be there. Twist them together so you have two ends that look like that. They should also be of equal length. Now what you're going to do is interweave these two together so they form a nice tight connection. Taking the two wires, make an X shape, grab the opposite side, and then gently twist them together. As you're twisting, you want to kind of pull towards the insulation. And if you do this correctly, you should end up with a nice rope type weave that'll help pull the wires together tightly. Now what we're going to do is solder the wires together so that they're permanently connected. Take a solder gun, pull the trigger, that starts to get the tip of the gun hot. Place that on the wire, on the actual copper. You're going to take your solder and place that also on the copper. You should not have to place it on the tip of the gun. Once the wire gets hot enough, the solder is going to start melting into it. And now you can see the solder starting to actually flow into the copper. And you only need enough solder so that it wicks into the copper and basically locks everything together, like you see here. Now the final step is going to be to put heat shrink on it. The heat shrink will seal out moisture, water, things like that. If you were doing this on a sealed connection, you would want to put that on first. In this case, we'll slide it on, place it over the exposed wires, and then use a heat gun to heat it up and shrink it. Now another way to do this would be to take a lighter, hold the lighter under it, and that'll also shrink it too. Turn the heat gun on. You can see it doesn't take long, the heat shrink is shrunk up, and now we have a proper connection that won't have any electrical issues. This won't come loose as it vibrates driving down the road. We also won't have any electrical interference because all the wires are properly secured together.